Guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk today a little bit about chickens. So if you're anything like us, you guys go through a lot of eggs, and if you have been to the grocery store lately, you know that the egg prices are kind of insane right now. And so I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there who are considering getting some chickens. If you have acreage or if you don't have acreage, you can have chickens. You can have chickens in a backyard. You can have chickens in the city. You can have chickens in the country. Most places, as long as you have at least some sort of an outside space for them, you can have chickens. So you always want to check with your city to make sure that it is okay for you to have them, that you don't need like a permit or anything. I know some cities you can't have roosters, some it's okay. We have had chickens now for about 4 years and we love it. They are one of my favorite animals. It's an animal that I can't imagine us ever not having on our farm again. And it is definitely the easiest animal. I call it the gateway farm animal because once we got those, that's when I was sold that I definitely wanted a farm. I definitely wanted to build a homestead of our own. So I wanted to walk you guys through just what it takes to get started with having your own chickens. If you want to have chickens, I'm sure that you have looked up all of the fun stuff that you can get for them, the pretty coops and all of the pretty fencing and all of that stuff. And that stuff can add up so fast. When you first start out though, it kind of depends what you're getting. If you go to Tractor Supply or even order directly from a hatchery, you're gonna get little baby, just 1 or 2 day old chicks. And what those little guys need is special chick starter feed. They need water and they need somewhere that is going to be in the high 90 degrees. So I really like to start chicks in the summertime. It can get that hot in Oklahoma here pretty consistently in the summer, especially in the later summer in July and August. It just saves you on having to have a heat lamp going 24/7. But if you don't want to start them then, if you're really wanting to get them started now, then you want to make sure to have some sort of a heat source. You can pick up a heat lamp off of Amazon. They have them at Tractor Supply, at any farm store. They're going to have them tons of places online. So you definitely want to make sure that you have a heat lamp or a heat pad specifically made for brooding chickens. And then you also want to have some place to brood them. Now, when we first started doing this, we used just a plastic tote from just Walmart or any big box store, just one of those totes that you would keep like old clothes or like Christmas decorations in. And we just put pine shavings in the bottom, put the food and water in there, and had the light attached, and that worked great. When we moved on to having more chicks when we would brood them, we went to an old pack and play that we had. That worked so well because it was really easy to move around. The heat lamp clamped on really easily, and it was pretty easy to just pop the bottom out of that and change everything. We used the pack and play probably for 2 years every time we would get new chicks. So we like to get a new batch of chicks just every maybe like 6 months or so, maybe every 9 months, just so that we always are able to have like newer chicks that are starting to lay. Most chickens will start laying eggs right around the 4 to 5 month old mark. And so we have found that as we can kind of move our older hens out that are maybe not laying as much, then we start to have new hens that are laying, and that has just allowed us to just stay in eggs all the time. If you stick with one flock, then you might have for 1, maybe 2 at most years really good egg production, and then you're not going to have anything hardly at all after that. So you want to make sure that you are kind of doing it in a succession. Then this past spring, my son and I built a raised bed garden in our front yard, and we wanted to use that to plant some lettuce for the winter, which we do have going now. But before we did that, I decided to try using that as a brooder. So our whole garden is about 2.5 feet tall, but the actual soil in it only goes up to about maybe about 1.5 feet. So we have about 1 foot of space there that we could put the chicks in. We covered it with some chicken wire so that they couldn't fly out. They had plenty of room to grow in there, and it gave them a 4x8 space. And that was an amazing, amazing chicken brooder. So much so that before I get my next batch of chicks, because I already have stuff planted in that raised bed, we are going to build another one that I can use for a brooder again. So you really have a lot of options as far as how you want to start them. Now, once they're actually started, they have to move into a coop. So you want to give them somewhere that is safe from predators, especially at night. If you are like us, you live in an area that you have a lot of predators. So we have coyotes that are just north of us. We live by like some open fields and some wooded area, and so we have some coyotes, and they like to come over. They've gotten a few of our chickens, which is really sad, but we have a coop for them. Now, the first coop that we ever had, I built myself, and it is still standing. I have to say, I'm very proud of that. But we have since moved on to one that is attached to our barn. That was definitely something that once we decided that we were going to just keep chickens forever, we wanted to make sure and invest in that. I would not suggest starting out with that though. You have so many options of things that you can use for a coop, just as long as it is something that you can close up at night. One really, really good option is if you have like a dog crate. We have a couple that we are currently using for some bunnies that we're housing for some rabbits, but we have used them for chickens also in the past. That is a really good, a lot of times you can find them at like thrift stores or flea markets, and that is a really, really good option if you're wanting to start out just a minimal investment and be able to have everything that you need. You would be able to probably keep comfortably 2 or 3 full-size chickens in a big dog crate overnight, as long as they have enough space to come out during the day. So the other thing that you need is a chicken run. So you're gonna have a chicken coop, and that's where they sleep at night, and that's where they usually go to lay their eggs. And then you're gonna have a chicken run, and that's where they go out and get all of their nutrients in the day and get all of their exercise. We like to keep the water for our chickens in the chicken run, and that's where we feed them, because we always make sure that our chickens are only in the chicken coop at night, and in the morning they come out and get food and water and run around and eat all of the bugs, and that's amazing. So there are some pretty specific measurements that you want to make sure that you have. You want at least 1 to 2 square feet for each chicken in your chicken coop, and you want about 10 square feet or so for each chicken in your chicken run. So if you have a 10 by 10 space for a chicken run, you probably wouldn't want to keep 20 chickens in there. They would hurt each other. They probably would tear the grass up to a point where you wouldn't be able to do anything else with it, and you would have to clean that out super often. It would not be safe for them, and it would be kind of frustrating for you. So I would strongly suggest whatever space you have, do not overcrowd. Overcrowding is a big problem with chickens, and you just definitely want to avoid doing that at all costs. As far as feeding our chickens, chicken feed has also gone up in price as eggs have, which I'm sure is part of the reason why eggs have gotten more expensive. One of the things that we love about having chickens is that we get to feed our kitchen scraps to them. So every week I clean out the refrigerator, any leftovers that we have not been able to get to that maybe are starting to not be so great for us to eat, the chickens can absolutely still eat them. And so we are not throwing any food away. We are giving it to our chickens, and then they are giving us food in return in the form of eggs. What kind of eggs, how many eggs, what color of eggs, all of these things are going to depend on the breed of chicken that you get. I would strongly suggest checking out Hoover's Hatchery. That's where I really like to get stuff from. That's where we will order our next big batch of chicks from, and we are pretty excited about adding some Easter eggers to our flock because we don't have any of those yet. I was really leery about having way too many chickens for us because I knew that eggs would go bad. And then this last winter, I took some time, even though it took very little time, to water glass some eggs for the first time. And let me tell you what, as everybody else is racing to the store and spending tons of money, we are set for eggs for the winter for the most part, because we saved them. Anything that we wouldn't eat last summer, we saved them and water glassed them, and now they're perfectly good for up to a year, maybe even 2 years. In some cases, they won't last that long in our house, but we will definitely make good use of the eggs that we were able to save over from last summer. So all of that being said, we love having chickens. They are a great addition to our farm, and I hope that you guys are encouraged to get out and get some chickens too. You're gonna get not just eggs from them, but also a really great garbage disposal, so that you are not tossing any food down the trash can. You're just getting more food back in return for it. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.